work so you can play.
So here we are, MiniWarGamers, in the next video of this review of the Tau Empire Codex. And man, this is such a good book. So nice looking. In this one, we're going over the fast attack choices that are in this book. And I like them. I like them all for the most part. The bomber, the fighter, Pathfinders, of course, are amazing. And then we've also got the Piranha. And if you have Forge World, you've got the Barracudas. I only mentioned those because I have some, so. That also, you know what, I want to make a quick mention about the last video there, the one talking about the elites. More or less, the rules that I had before for Forge World still pretty much apply. They are still very good, and if you can afford to get them, by all means, do it. But they are not required to win. Yes, usually they're very good, and they even could be better than the ones that we have in the suit in the books, but for the most part, it evens out. They're just cooler looking. So if you have Forge World, get Forge World. If you don't, Forge World. If you don't worry about it. I'm going over the stuff in the book, though. That's what I'm going to be talking about because that's what we're all going to be getting for the most part. So moving on from there, let's take a look. We've got the Sunshark Bomber. I'm going to talk about that one first now. I like and I dislike a lot of things about this bomber. One, he's got a marker light. That's a plus. Two, he has the interceptor drones. They're neat looking, and they also seem like they'd be very effective as just like bonus units to drop down, help protect a few fire warriors who are in trouble. And then he's got the big bomb itself. Now the problem I have with the bomb is that it's only the same strength as a pulse rifle. So basically what you're doing is you're flying over and dropping rifle shots on him because that's really as strong as it's going to be. Now it's neat because even though it's one use only, you only have a 1 in 6 chance of not being able to use it again, which is also a bad thing. I mean, like, come on. I'm gonna pay all these points to bring this bomber and I can only go boom, and then it stops working. It's gonna happen. You know you're gonna roll that 1 the first time you go to shoot that thing, and it's gonna happen. So that's kind of a major bummer, but he still has a network marker light, which is a buff, and he still has seeker missiles, which are also nice. They're very effective for helping infantry units, and with marker lights being far more readily available, I think you're going to see more seeker missiles, and I plan on using a lot. I'm going to actually build a list around seeker missile support to fire warrior units and see if I can actually do it as an effective list. So stay tuned for that. But as far as the bomber is concerned, it's really neat that it can do the flyover bombing runs that you'd like to do with a bomber, and that it can even move and drop those interceptor drones. Honestly though, it and the Razor, the Razor Shark, are both, they both have their thing. The other fighter, the fighter that it has, the Razor Shark Strike Fighter, decent fire. It's got a nice ion gun on the bottom there, the quad ion. The quad ion turret, I think of it in the same way as I think about the Riptide. So basically, if you have one of these, you can make your Riptide more designed to fight ground. But if you have the Riptide, you can put the Skyfire on it, and it'll do the same job as the fighter, only it shoots twice as much. So really, you can go either way with that. I would prefer to bring the fighter, or sorry, I would prefer to bring the bomber, my mistake. There we go. Bomber, because you could have 2 bombers, or even 1 bomber and 2 fighters, or 1 bomber and a Barracuda or something like that, flying over, just dropping that bomb, because you are only 1 in 6 of not being able to do it anymore. And if you're fighting against somebody like Orcs and Tyranids, if this thing flies over and drops a 5-inch blast and just boom, clump of guys disappear, and then of course they're trying to advance forward, and you're gunning them down with your fire warriors who are being led by your ethereal who's waving his stick saying shoot them again, you'll be fine. But the fighter, it just doesn't seem like it has the same punch. I know it can turn into a bomb, like an AoE. It can turn into a blast, but I don't know. The marker light support is also huge because marker lights are everything in this army. And with the new rules that you can actually increase your snapfire and overwatch ability, if you were to network or if you marker lighted an enemy plane once or twice, you could make your fire warriors basically be shooting at ballistic skill at a flyer, which, even though it can't shoot the flyer because it's only got the 2 missiles and the bombing runs, it can at least set it up so that it can mark somebody's flyer, and then all the fire warriors on the ground can shoot that flyer. Or the Pathfinders, which is where I'm going to next. Pathfinders, they're basically an auto-include in your army, because before they were very good, they're very important with the marker lights. Now they're better, and the drones that they can bring, the grav inhibitors, so that it's minus D3 to charge them, or the pulse accelerators, so all of their carbines, which are now Assault 2, can shoot at 24 inches, and they have marker lights. They can also bring the recon drone. Now, I don't much care for the recon drone. He's kind of cool in that he can be a positional relay, and he can also be a homing beacon, but if you're deep striking basically on your units, it means they're really close to you, so I don't really deep strike a lot. That might change with the new Codex. I haven't really seen a reason though why you would bother, but it might change. It also is convenient because it can just, if it embarks onto a devilfish, the devilfish gains that ability and it doesn't take up a spot. It just kind of sits on the top. Now, other than that, other than the fact that you can bring 10 guys with marker lights who could all shoot one target and just mark them up, they've also got the option to bring the ion gun, the ion rifle, and the rail rifle. Now, I think the ion rifle wins out here simply because you can overcharge it and make it that much better. Rail rifle is very good because it's a stronger gun, but I think the ion's going to win out because you can move and shoot it rather accurately. So that's my opinion there. Now, other than that, they can take the EMP grenades, which, I mean, EMP is really cool, getting the haywire on your guys. So here comes your enemy charging you with his battle wagon. You send out one fireward or one Pathfinder to walk up and do his EMP grenade. Then again, the battle wagon will just kill them with 2d6 hits. Maybe that's not a good idea, but you see what I mean. There is, the option is there that you can just start blowing up tanks if you really come down to it, or if you can get behind the lines, which unfortunately they don't have scout or infiltrate. They do have scouts, so you'll get that. You deploy them as close as you can, then you scout move and you get into something else, and then you can shoot from there. It's usually what I always did, was I deployed near terrain, and then from my scout I moved into the terrain. And then that way when your turn begins, they count as having not moved, and seeing as their weapons are all heavy, that's kind of a big deal. Moving on from there, we've got the Vespid. Vespid aren't as bad as they used to be. They got a far better save, and they basically kept their guns. So they've got really good anti-Space Marine guns. Thing is, we don't really need anti-Space Marine guns. We have anti-Space Marine stuff everywhere. Battlesuits can kill Space Marines. Hammerheads are phenomenal now at killing Space Marines. Commanders can kill Space Marines. Hundreds of volleys of shots from Fire Warriors can kill Space Marines. And when the Vespid has to compete with stuff like marker lights and flyers, not that great. So I'm going to leave it at that. I don't really think I'll be investing in Vespid. I think the problem is for me, I only like the actual Tau. Not the Kroot, not the Vespid, just the Tau models, the guys who are actually that species. So other than that, if you like them, leave a comment below. Let me know why you think that they'd be effective. And like I said, I understand that they kill Space Marines really good. That's great for them, but if that's all they can really effectively do is fight mechanized infantry, because they don't really have the rate of fire to kill swarms, and they're not strong enough to kill tanks. So really all they're doing is killing the heavy infantry. So leave a comment, let me know what you think. Because like I said, this is just my opinion. It may very well change. I haven't tried out a lot of these things with the new book, so I can't say for certain. This is just my first view of it. But from there, we've got the Piranha. Now, the Piranha has gotten cheaper, which is nice to see. And it's got a burst cannon still, which being now Assault 4 is just that little bit better. I'm still not going to bring it unless you have the models. If you have like 15 Piranhas and you can bring 3 groups of 5 with all meltas or burst, melta, burst, melta, burst, that would be cool. But without it, they've got to complete with the fighter, the bomber, and the Pathfinders. And if you have Forge World, the Barracuda. So Pathfinders are going to win out, I think, a lot of the time here, because you no longer have to bring a Devilfish with them, thankfully. So you can save a lot of points right there. But the issue, we have so many good fast attacks that they're really competing with one another. I think you could build a good list of any of these fast attacks. Maybe not Vespid, I don't know them very well, and I don't think that they'd be that reliable for the job that they'd have to do compared to the other guys. But between like marker lights, planes, and Piranhas, they could definitely get the job done. Now, there is one other thing that I almost forgot about, but it's a drone squadron. You could, if you really wanted, bring an entire unit of shield drones and just attach it, or better yet, you could take an entire unit of shield drones and then attach your commander to it and put all of them in front of him. I think somebody should do that. I want to know how that goes. Somebody do it. Leave a comment below. Let me know how that works out. Because I want to see a maximum unit. Let me double check. Yeah, I want to see somebody bring 12 shield drones and a battlesuit commander, and then have the commander join the shield drones and have 12 shield drones stand in front of him. Because I think he'd be impossible to kill. It would take forever to kill that guy, because you could always just pass it off. Even in close combat on a 2-up, you can do your look out, sir. Because all it says is when you've taken a wound. It doesn't specify from shooting or melee. Unless you're in a challenge, I believe you can't get away from it then. But otherwise, you can just be like, oh, the 4-up invuln, 4-up invuln, 4-up invuln, and you gotta fail 12 of those, so it's gonna take at least 18 hits to make you fail all of them, 50-50-ish. And I think that'd be gross. But anyway, that's what I think about the fast attacks now. Planes are still gonna be the big thing. Our Codex is gonna be the scariest thing I think that you're gonna have to run up against if you're bringing another flyer. That or the orcs, because being only 11-10-10, our planes will go down pretty easy. The Barracuda is even squishier at only 10-10-10. So if you have one of those, watch out. But leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you would watch out for. Sun Shark or Razor Shark? I don't know which one I like more. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. I haven't decided. I'm gonna have to play them both. I'm just gonna have to do that so I can figure out which one's better in my opinion. But right now they're very close. Network marker light, burst cannon. Drones, ion. Bombs, ion. Like, they're so close. So stay tuned. Next video, we're going over the heavy support. It'll be the last one in this review of the Tau Codex, or at least the first thoughts of the Tau Codex. And I'm sure this will change, and you'll see me, I'll talk about this as more and more bat reps come out, and as I refer and think about it and see what happens and see what works. So stay tuned for that, MiniWarGamers. Get ready, heavy support. Happy wargaming.